So, hello, my name is Barbara Sakudevich and I am a member of student organization at Warsaw School of Economics, Data Science Management Club. You can find a link to our Facebook website below, so please feel free to check it out, see what we're posting and give us a like. Today, we are having a great honor to host one of the best world-known investors, Morten Lund. Welcome. This is a person who went from rags to riches, then lost everything and climbed back to the top again. I mean, it's an amazing Oscar movie story, I'd say. So, I mean, at least for me. It is said that, you invested in over 150 startups, and those are numbers that were posted around 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's probably 200 now.
So that was supposed to be my question.
You guys are good with numbers, so you understand that. Very few people understand that it actually grows.
Yeah, so it has evolved quite a lot.
Yeah.
So my first question is, you guys in Denmark have one of the biggest numbers of successful startups. What makes you guys so entrepreneurial, and why do you guys have more startups than we do? I mean, the successful startups.
Well, I think that's fairly simple because we were we had another kind of welfare. I think the version of welfare that you guys had under communism didn't really work apparently. But our welfare has been implemented over the last 50 years, and we have an extremely fine security net in the Danish society, which means that basically you could say that if you're not an artist or doing a startup, you're an idiot because you get money from the government to live. Yeah.
Right.
So my daughters, they get 1,000 euros a month to study in free schools.
So it's an infrastructure, basically.
I think the welfare gives you a starting point where you can start thinking about startups and yourself and be full of yourself, of course, which is dangerous. But you can do that without risking a lot, because you can still feed your family even if you fail. There's no problem. I mean, a single mom gets her apartment paid for, which I love. I love the structure, and it's very safe. It's an extremely strong society we have.
So you're saying that the biggest advantage, your competitive advantage as a country, is the infrastructure, the government, the way.
Yeah, the welfare system, because everybody's taken care of. Then of course you can start to space out a little bit more and be an artist or do a startup without the risk. I don't understand why so few people are doing a startup in Denmark.
Oh, so you're saying that the numbers could be even greater?
Much better, yeah, easily.
Okay. So now, as you know, as I discussed before, we're a majority of people from our organization are having a major in big data. Mm-hmm. So in your opinion, what's the business opportunity in big data? Is it artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, deep learning, machine learning, something else?
Well, so I'm not a major in anything except from life. But I have been looking, of course, deeply into all of this, and mostly the applications on big data, or the interesting applications coming out of AI. But I think to this question, I think it's pretty obvious that understanding how to handle big data is the premise for everything AI, machine learning, or everything in that category, because the machine learning is nothing special and nothing new. It's all about the data samples, yeah? And you guys will understand the data samples from a deeper perspective. I mean, for instance, it's funny to think about deep learning or machine learning and AI. It doesn't really work on elections because there's simply too few.
Yeah.
But you guys will see all kind of big new data sets that can actually be collected. I'm so old that I still remember once in the first 10 years of the internet, you would sometimes have to delete your inbox because no computer could hold it.
Couldn't handle it.
There was simply not enough storage, and you guys will never try that. You'll just keep saving and storing.
Now we're encountering problems. There is too much.
Yeah.
How to handle it?
Yeah. But that's what you're studying, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're learning to do.
Yeah. So I think that what you guys have an extreme, and first in the history probably of mankind, opportunity to do is to see these cascading opportunities. Kevin Kelly talks about the opportunity cascades. When you start looking into something, then understanding one area deep, then you will see enormous amount of new opportunities in that area. And I think you've been very smart to choose to go to this faculty of big data, because the whole AI, machine learning, that whole new opportunity sphere, and new. I mean, I have good friends, Chris from Connor Capital. He studied this in '91. A lot of people studied artificial intelligence before, but there was no data.
Yeah,
because
nothing to be based on.
Google's picture search, it only worked when they asked people to map a million pictures. Yeah, it didn't work. I mean, the artificial intelligence is not that artificial. I mean, it's logic.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of emotions coming in, and to take it to the sexy and interesting level of the consciousness and all the interesting stuff that we're dreaming about with AI. I mean, we're not even closely there. We have no idea about what AI will be when it comes to consciousness and all these future ideas that we're talking about. But in reality, I don't believe that any big contract, let's say for the sake of a number, any contract over $10 million in any sector in the world will not be won in 3 to 5 years without having big data and AI involved in giving your offer, handling in your offer. Yeah, because the guys with the AI will just know more, but they cannot go anywhere without having the data served. And that's, I think, where you guys have a huge opportunity.
So it's the moment of transformation, we may say, where companies need to implement, analysis, big data analysis.
Yeah.
It's relatively new. The technologies are just creating. We're in the process of creating.
Yeah, and handling enough data.
Yeah.
So what you guys should, I think, with the very also interesting financial opportunities, look at actually how to package and serve data into all these algorithms, and because the algorithms are already there. Google and Facebook, Google and Amazon are offering these algorithms for free and the software for free to play with it. Yeah, you guys should just start feeding them. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now looking at the artificial intelligence from the other side, do you think it may have a negative impact on the business environment? Can it impose a potential threat to some companies?
It depends on what a threat is, and you're probably referring because we intuitively think it's a threat that people would lose their jobs.
Perhaps.
And that's an interesting discussion coming now with automation and AI, but I'm not sure that I see from that. I'm extremely positive. I'm an optimist by design, but I think that you will have to have some ethical discussions. We're a group of people trying to do a project we call Copenhagen AI, where we want Copenhagen to be the capital of Europe for AI. It's a dream and it might not happen, but always start working at it. Yeah, and we will have an ethical charter for the lab. It's going to be a commercial lab, yeah, faculty, but we will have an ethical charter and an ethical board to say what we can and what we cannot work for commercially. Of course, science-wise, we have to do everything, yeah. But commercially, there's some stuff that could be kind of weird, and where AI it could be perceived as dangerous, but I'm again so old.
For instance.
But it's a lot about the when you analyze, and it's very simple. You can just look at it from a data science point of view, or from a data point. There was this case where some advertising algorithm could predict that a girl was pregnant, yeah, because of her search. It's not that fucking hard. If you search for it's not AI, but the problem was that dad was using the computer, so he could see that the advertising started to become these pregnancy tests. And he was apparently smart enough to...
Right, point, yeah.
So but what I was trying to say is that I was your age in the early 90s, and I remember 94 and 5. I was at a lot of conferences where they were talking about this incredible disaster when everybody would be wearing a phone and they would tell the telephone company where they were, so it would be surveillance on another dimension. And I have been in endless amounts of meetings about this security and how do you secure yourself, and now people are fucking checking in everywhere. Some of you guys probably checked in here today, so it's not like you're hiding yourself, right?
We named it.
It's turned around.
Yeah, we named it. We became accustomed to that.
Yeah, and you like it, and if you don't have anything to hide.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't think that what we think is a fear is probably an opportunity.
Okay. Thank you.
And transparency, I mean, is a big deal here as well. Yeah.
Okay. Now a shorter question. As you have a great expertise of the entrepreneurial environment, could you, if you were to name 4 factors that make startup a great success, what would they be?
So I thought a lot about this. So you have to think about the combination of the business model, the team, for what I do, the technology, and then the timing. And we try, like everyone else, we try to quantify this. What is the most important? And we've been looking a lot at this, and I think Bill Gross, the founder of Idea Lab, which is a guy you should definitely watch his videos and read his books. He comes to the conclusion, and I come to the same conclusion, I think, that it's the timing.
The right timing?
Yeah. That's...
Isn't it a random factor in some way? Can it be predicted?
The problem is you can't time it. But it seems that with Airbnb, with Uber, the technology has been there for quite some time, but the financial crisis in 2008 made people ready to actually share their apartment and share their car for driving other people around. So the timing, or the macro or whatever timing that is in favor of your startup, it seems to be the most important thing. Then of course you need to have world-class team and a world-class business idea and world-class technology for whatever you do. Yeah.
So the careful analysis of what's going on in the world, what's going on
in
the market.
The macro perspective.
Yeah. Okay. And so what's your advice for young entrepreneurs? Is there a recipe for success?
No, well, there is actually one, but it's fairly annoying and simple. It's just called persistence. Yeah. And again, Airbnb had 3 launch parties. They started the same company 3 times.
Right. And my last question is about Elon Musk. So Elon Musk claims there's 1 in a billion chance that reality is not a simulation. So are we all living in a video game, perhaps?
I'm really not. I'm not smart enough to have a perspective on that. I think we've all confessed to that idea through various different religions for many years. It's just another way of saying it, but I have no idea.
Perception is reality, perhaps?
Yeah, I think that works well for me.
Right. Okay, so thank you so much for having this interview. It was a great pleasure to talk to you.
It's an honor.